Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you are all doing fine and healthy. My name is Rochelle, and I'm from Tarsisius 1 Junior High School. Although I can't deliver my speech directly because of this COVID-19 pandemic, I still feel honored. To open the topic that I will talk about today, I have a short story to tell you all. Hello, can you hear that? Voices in my head. It's eating me up inside. Hello, can you hear that? Voices in my head, trapping me in unending darkness. Hello, can you hear that? Voices in my head, telling me to give up. Hello, can you hear that? Help. Can you guess the topic that I will discuss today? Yes, you are right. I will discuss about mental health. More precisely, the prominence of normalizing mental illness. Mental health and mental illness are two inseparable things. The terms mental health and mental illness are often used interchangeably, but there is a subtle difference that is crucial on understanding how this topic impacts everyone. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, mental health means the conditions of someone's mind, whether or not they are suffering from any mental illness. While on the other hand, mental illness means an illness that affects the mind. If people encounter with mental health problems, their way of thinking, behavior, and emotions will be affected. It also helps to determine how people deal with stress, connect with others, and decision makings. Although everyone have their own way of thinking, there can be found the same pattern or illness. There are nearly 300 mental disorders that listed in the Diagnostic and Manual Statistic of Mental Disorder. Some of the main groups are depression, anxiety disorder, personality disorder, trauma-related disorder, bipolar disorder, substance abuse disorder, and eating disorder. The most common mental illness is depression, and it is estimated it will be the second leading cause of disability in the world by 2020. The diagnosis of mental illness can be controversial among the cultures. According to the report, Mental Health, Culture, Race, and Ethnicity, there are many ways in which cultures show its influence in a diversity of experiences. For instance, culture affects the way in which people describe their symptoms, such as whether they choose to describe their emotional symptoms or physical symptoms. Essentially, it dictates whether people effectively present symptoms in a culturally acceptable manner so that it won't reflect badly on themselves. Each culture has its own opinion on whether mental illness is real or not, an illness of the mind, or of the body, or both, who's at risk of it, what might cause it, and perhaps the most importantly, the level of stigma surrounding it. Cultural factors often determine how much support will the person get from a family or communities in seeking help. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that according to World Health Organization, every 40 seconds someone loses their life to suicide? With high complexity, untreated mental illness can lead to unhappiness, decreased enjoyment in life, relationship difficulties, social isolation, problems with tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs, problems related with work or school, legal and financial problems, heart disease, and many other medical complications. The worst cases can lead to suicide. Imagine if we catch a cold and it inhibits our activities. Of course, the first thing to do is to seek medical help. Likewise, dealing with mental illness, we need support from people around and professional help. But the question is, how can we identify whether if someone has mental health issues or not? Think of mental illness as an enemy behind the blanket. It's invisible and it's dangerous. As a matter of speaking, The symptoms of mental illness are often hard to be identified. This is due to the struggle that people with mental illness have whenever they try to open up about their feelings. Fear about being judged or seen as a crazy person by people around usually haunts them. Lack of education in our society leads to a stigma that mental health problems are not real. The majority of people assume that mental illness are too exaggerated. That's why it's very important to normalize mental illness. So, what can we do to create contributions? Like what Glenn Close said, mental health needs more candor, more sunlight, and more unashamed conversation. Here's some things that we can do. Affectionate sentences such as, "Why don't you tell me how are you feeling?" or "I'll be there if you need me" would really be touching for those who suffer from mental illness. Try to be neutral when responding, and try not to judge them. Be a great and supportive listener. You don't always have to agree with their statement, but you can always offer some help with giving some support. Try not to be pushy and respect their privacy. Remember, it is very hard for people who suffer from mental illness to open up about their struggle. And lastly, suggest them to seek professional help and provide information on ways to do this. Try not to be pushy and let them make the decision. Bit by bit, step by step, long journey ahead. I may never understand, but I stand with you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for my speech. Thank you and